upside and downside. So let's talk about his character. That was his journey, his character. P. Ito po, pero medyo pinag-isipan ng konti kasi medyo mahirap. So his character. What was his character? All of us has characters, no? But Joseph has the right character. That's why he became successful. He has the right attitude. So what was his first character? He was principled. May prinsipyo po siya. Naalala niyo si Mrs. Potiphar? What he said to Mrs. Potiphar? Everything was given to me by Potiphar except you. Because he's got a godly principle, hindi worldly principle. Pag tayo mga kalalakihan, may lumapit sa atin, anong sasabihin natin? Laman tiyan din niya. Is that what we do? No, we should have a godly principle. What we should have are godly principle, not worldly principle. So when people like Mrs. Potiphar comes in, what do? Do you attack that person because he has the person attack you or has said something bad to you? No. What was the principle of God? Love your enemies. So that's the principle that we should believe in. So he was a very principled man. He was very trustworthy. Does your boss trust you? O hindi? Does your wife or husband trust you? O hindi? No, because it boils down to principle. Godly principles or worldly principles. Remember the sowing and reaping principle. Whatever you sow, you will reap. So kung ano po yung inilagay nyo, kung nagsumika po tayo, imposible na hindi ka mag-reap ng maganda eh. When you do things right before the Lord, of course, the result will be right things for you. Intindihan po natin. Intelligent. He was very intelligent. No, he knew that the cupbearer can help him. And then when he was told by Pharaoh of his dream, he knew what he was supposed to do. Sabi niya, let's make barns on every city. Let's collect the grains in 7 years. And then later on, we will sell them. So he was very intelligent. Now when I speak about intelligence, I'm not speaking about this one only. I'm speaking about your skills. I'm speaking about your ability. Ang mga Pilipino, maabilidad. Diyan po wala mga Pinoy. So we're not just talking about intelligence. We're talking about the things that God has given you, your skills and your ability. So he has sound decision making. He was never about himself. No, at a young kid, he learned how to be humble. Nagyabang siya, nagalit sa kanya mga kapatid niya. So later on, he knew how to be humble. He was also sensitive and had genuine concern for others. When he saw that the cupbearer and the chief bread maker was sad, tinanong niya agad. Sabi niya, bakit? Anong problema niyo? So sinabi sa kanya yung problema. He was concerned. He was sensitive. He was genuine. He was never about himself. He learned to be patient. Pero niya, after 2 years, doon lang siya naalala ng cupbearer. But he was never angry with the cupbearer. No, he was very patient because he was never about himself. He was considerate of others. And you know what? When you show that you are concerned about people around you, genuinely concerned about people around you, people will also be concerned about you. So never be about yourself. Never be about yourself. It's not, the world doesn't revolve around you. Hindi lang puro ikaw. Alam ko, marami natin, tinutulungan din natin yung mga kapatid natin sa Pilipinas. Magpapaaral tayo, nagpapagaling ng mga may sakit na. Because that should be the principle. It's never about ourselves. It can never be about ourselves. Meron ka dito, pwede kang tulungan natin. If you have something, if you have an excess, then probably it's not for you. Probably it's for that person. No? Because it's never about you. It's never about you always. When you pray, do you just pray about yourself? No, you pray for other people. It's never about ourselves. He was organized too. No? He organized barns in a system because he was organized, he was reliable. Because he was organized, he was effective. And organization is hard work. Hard working. No? Napakahirap po mag-organize. Very organized po si Joseph. And lastly, in one of his character, the most important of his character, he was Yahweh's servant. He was God-fearing, the most important aspect of his life. And because he was God's servant, he was able to bounce back and forth to being successful. So in essence, si Joseph po ay isang Pinoy. Ha? Pinoy. Tayong mga Pinoy. Ganyan po tayo eh. Diba? We are principled. We are intelligent. We are skillful. We are never about ourselves. We always help the people in the Philippines, people around us. May nakita tayong Pilipino na walang trabaho. We try to to give them something. No, we try to put them, give them to our bosses. Bigay sila na magtanong. No, we are organized people. No, we can organize things. We are good in that. Makita nyo yung organization ng Pilipino. Pumunta ka ng McDonald's dito, may 20 customer, nalilito sila eh. Pumunta ka ng Pilipinas, 100, di sila nalilito eh. Because we are organized. Very organized ang mga Pinoy. And then, if you are a Yahweh servant, if you are God's servant, no, nothing will stop you from being blessed. Nothing can stop you from being blessed. So, are you a Pinoy? Yes! We are Pinoy. No, that is his character. And that should be our character. And lastly, no, his legacy. What was his legacy? His legacy, he was able to save his family. He was able to save Egypt. He was actually able to save by himself the whole world. Remember, this was a recession during that time. And because of what he did, no, he was able to save the whole country. 2 countries at least. Egypt and Israel. And because of that, we are still talking about Joseph, the most successful OJW. So what will be our conclusion? What will be the conclusion that we can make? Success is based upon what type of character you have. A Pinoy will always be successful. Ano po yung Pinoy? Principled, intelligent, never about himself. He was organized. He was Yahweh's servant. So if you're a Pinoy, and you will be successful. Success is based upon what type of character you have. And one thing that I admire about Pinoy is that we are hardworking people. Ibang klase po tayo mag-work compared to other race. I'm not being racist. I'm not putting you up. No, but I know how Pinoys work. Nakikita ko kung paano tayo gumawa, kung paano tayo kumilos. We were trained to do hard work. Yeah. Kaya pagdating natin sa ibang bansa, hard working tayo eh. That's why, hindi malayo. It's not far that we will be successful in our life. No? We can be successful anywhere, whether we're a janitor or whether we're a manager, whether you're a nurse or an engineer, or, it doesn't matter as long as you give everything, you give your best for the Lord, you will be successful. Sabi ni J. Paul Getty, the formula for success is to rise early, work hard, and strike oil. No, it's a joke because he struck oil. He was one of the world's richest man in 1892 to 1976. But what he said was he rose early and then he worked hard. Rose early, work hard. Tayo ganun eh. Diba? Nung elementary tayo, 5 o'clock, tumigising na tayo. Inigising na tayo ng nanay natin. Gising na, 5 o'clock na, papasok na kayo. Nakita ko yung mga bata rito, 8 o'clock na, ayaw pang bumangon. Yung mga anak ko, no? So, different. Our culture is different. The way we were brought, the way that we were brought in. Yung pagtuturo ng mga magulang natin, hard work. Yung mga bata rito, ang dala lang ng book nila, isang libro at saka isang lunch. Sa atin, di ba? 7 libro, isang box na isang backpack, puro libro. That's how hardworking Filipinos are. Huwag niyo pong kalimutan yun. Ituro po ninyo sa mga anak ninyo yun. No, hindi po dapat na nalilimutan nila na hard work can bring them somewhere. Second, conclusion, successful people face unsuccessful moments in their quest for greatness. Nakita natin si Joseph, there's ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. Sabi ni Thomas J. Watson, Thomas J. Watson was IBM's president during the 1940 to the 1956. This was Thomas J. Watson. Sabi niya, would you like me to give you a formula for success? It's quite simple, really. Double your rate of failure. You are thinking of failure as the enemy of success, but it isn't at all. You can be discouraged by your failure, or you can learn from it. So go ahead and make mistakes. Make all you can, because remember because that's where you will find success. Now, it doesn't matter whether you feel you are a failure right now. All you have to do is to stand up and do it again. Try again. And tomorrow you become a failure again. You stand up. You just stand up. Try again. That's kung huminto na si Joseph at the time na kinulong siya, would he become a successful prime minister? No. Kung nagreklamo na siya, nagtampo na siya sa Lord, magiging successful ba siya? No. Tayo din. There are ups and downs. And even in this ministry, this is also a message to the workers of this church. There will be ups and downs. But we will never stay in the downside. We will always get up, and put our trust in God. That's how we should be That's how we should be doing that. Third conclusion, success is relative. What do I mean? You actually define how success is to you. Nung high school po ako, there was at the end of the school, no, fourth year, people, you write your future profession. No? So people like me, I didn't know what to do then after high school. So I wrote there, I want to be a professional basketball player. Because I was really good in basketball then. No, payat pa ako. I was really good in basketball then. But there was a certain classmate of ours. Natawa kami ng tawa. We were really laughing when he wrote his professional, his future profession that he wanted to. Sabi niya doon, nilagay niya doon, bumbero. So, tawa kami ng tawa kasi, bumbero? Bakit? Bumbero? Gusto nito. Galing-galing nito sa math, galing-galing nito sa science. Bakit? He wants to be bumbero. But you know what? At the age of 18, he became the most successful batchmate of ours. Why? Became a bumbero. Because the success is relative to what you want. No? How do you define success? Do you define success as having 2 houses, 2 cars, or having a good position in the office, or having lots of friends? It actually depends on you. Success, the definition of success depends on how you define it. Kasi sometimes, to me, I'm successful if I'm at home and looking after the kids. I like that, and I'm happy. So to me, to be in the house doing nothing, only with the kids, to me that's success. No? So it depends on how you define your success. Paano nyo ba i-define yung success nyo? So nyo ba $1 million in the bank? Is that how you define success? Pero you never sleep? No? You never rest? Is that what you want? You want 2 houses? Of course, you can have 2 houses. But I tell you, pagpunta kayo dito sa church, matutulog na lang kayo kasi this is your time to sleep. Because every day, from Monday to Saturday, from Monday to Saturday, you are working. Is that how you define success? No. So, it depends. Depends on how you define your success. But I'm telling you, if you want to define success, use the meaning of success on how Filipinos define it. Si Pastor Ed po is an anthropologist. He studied Philippine study. He studied the Philippine history is very learned about the culture. And sabi niya, the way Filipinos define success is quite different from any other. Sabi niya, the meaning of success for Filipinos is when most culture measure success by how much you have. Again, when most culture measure success by how much you have gained, the Filipinos measure success by how much you have given. Kung yung ibang culture daw is culture of having, culture of amassing wealth, culture of just getting wealth for themselves, Filipinos define it differently. Filipinos define it as sharing. The more you share, the more you become successful. Di kayo naniniwala? Paano kayo? This is how people introduce you. Bawa, nakita kayo ng kapatid mo, may kasama siyang friend. Paano niya kayo pinapakilala? Di ba ganito? Yan ang kuya ko. Yan yung nagpaaral sa akin. Di ba? Yung mga kamag-anak niyo, nung may sakit ako, yan yung nagpadala sa akin ng pera para gumaling ako. Di ba that's how you, that's how people introduce you. They introduce you based on what you have done, what you have shared. When I went back from the Philippines, yung father-in-law ko was in the hospital. How did he introduce me to his friends? Sabi niya, ito yung son-in-law ko. Nung nagkasakit ako, pinadala niya ako ng pera. Isn't it? Because we define success by how much we are sharing. It's not because of how much we have. The Western culture defines success by how much you have, by how much money you have, by how many cars you have, by how many houses you have, by how many, it's about what you have. But Filipinos do it differently. By how much we share. It's how much we share. How much we help others. And lastly, real success, Henry Ward Beecher said, in this world, it is not what we take up, but what we give up that makes us rich. Again, in this world, it is not what we take up, but what we give up that makes us rich. That's what makes us rich. What we share to the people around us. And lastly, real success only comes from God. Joseph's journey has been showered with blessings simply because God was with him. In Genesis 39, 2-6, the Lord was with Joseph that he prospered. Because the Lord was with Joseph, he prospered Joseph and Potiphar. In Genesis 39, 20-21, Joseph's master took him and put him in prison, the place where the king's prisoners were confined. But while Joseph was there in prison, the Lord was with him. He showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. Genesis 41, 15-16, Pharaoh said to Joseph, I had a dream, and no one can interpret it, but I have heard it said that you have said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. And what did Joseph say? He said, I cannot do it. But God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. You know what? Real success only comes from the Lord. Do you really think you are skillful enough? Do you really think that you are intelligent enough? Do you really think that you are good-looking enough to be successful? Hindi. Because someone else, the next day, someone more skillful. The next day, someone more intelligent. The next day, someone more good-looking than you are will come in. And what will become of you? Unless the Lord is with you, you will never be really successful. If you trust on your skills, if you trust on what you know, if you trust on what you